Now, Elder John Nganga, most welcome. We've had this subject. I remember initially we discussed about the Kikuyu culture, and we looked at the culture versus the Bible, because our authority for faith and practice is the Bible. And you took us through in that first session, and we had a second one which we addressed the issue of the blood, which I would like to invite our viewers to go through those YouTube presentations so that you can be able to catch up where we are. The last one we spoke about blood widely according to the scripture, but then we contrasted with what is happening with the especially emergence of the Kikuyu traditional practices which are against the Bible. And today we get to the very, very heart of the Kikuyu culture, which is dowry. Dowry issues. Elder John Nganga, you are experienced, you've been in salvation long enough. Last time you quoted...
And I'm a grandfather.
You are grandfather.
Yeah.
And more beyond that, you quoted last time that there's something you saw your grandfather. So there are so many things you've learned across your life. Now, this issue of dowry, please expound it.
Let me say right at the beginning, dowry in Kikuyu is called ratio, which is payments for the purchase of a wife. When I got married, about 47 years ago, my relative said, "Hey, did you buy a wife?" So in Kikuyu land, women are up for sale, and you are not allowed to have a wife whom you have not purchased fully. That tells you many people, their wives are still on loan because they have not cleared the balance. So according to the Kikuyu traditional religion, you should never live with a woman you have not paid for. And it is wrong, according to that religion, to have a wife you have not paid for. And so dowry in Kikuyu traditional religion is the purchase price of a woman. But more importantly, dowry is given as per the instructions of the ancestors. So therefore, you cannot just give dowry the way you want. Dowry you give according to what that clan's ancestors said.
Sorry for interruption. I think that's a critical point.
Yeah.
So where do ancestors come in, and where are they?
You see, the ancestor could have said, for my progeny, the people that come, you must give 10 goats or 20 goats, whatever. If you have given less, you still are left with the debt of the ancestors. And that goes back to your grandfather, because you'll not be finishing your dowry if your grandmother's dowry is not yet cleared.
Then, Elder, it seems this Kikuyu religious system leaves us always having debts to ancestors.
You always have a debt.
I think that nobody has cleared these debts.
It's a very serious matter. That's why you hear your child gets sick. When you go to the diviner, he says it's because you received dowry before you cleared the dowry of your mother or your grandmother. They are already long dead, but you have to pay dowry. Because dowry is not a simple exchange of gifts. People like to say that. It isn't. In Kikuyu traditional religion, dowry is a religious issue. You cannot live with a wife without causing dahu if you don't pay for her. And you cannot give that dowry outside the line of the ancestral requirements.
As we proceed, because this I know is a deep subject, but then let's go back to this issue of ancestors. With whose authority do Kikuyu subscribe to this? Or the Gomi, did they write it? Where is the authority?
So let's be clear. To the Kikuyus, your ancestors are your God. They say, although they also know there is God of Kirinyaga, but the Kikuyu say, "Ithe wa mundu ni ngai wa keri." In other words, my parents and God are equals. In other words, they say something, you do it. It is telling you to jump, you do not ask why. You can only ask how high. That is the Kikuyu traditional religion. Your parents' word is final. And so, we are talking about the ones alive, and the ones who are dead. And the ones who are dead are more powerful than the living one. Because the living one, you can ask questions.
Really?
Those ones are dead, and what they said is final.
They are gods.
If you don't do it, they are not powerless. They are in the spirit world. And those powers are going to interfere with the way you live. Can you then see power of the ancestors comes from that view that you cannot question what your ancestors said, and you can't do, and you can't negotiate. You have to do the way they say. And if you don't, they are able to spiritually affect your life today.
And then, Elder, these Kikuyu people, because you see, we are contrasting it with Christianity.
Yeah.
When is a Kikuyu person free?
Okay.
From ancestors. When can he say, I'm now free?
If you don't become a Christian, you will never be free. You will have to keep giving all those sacrifices one after the other. Something happens in your home, if you go to the diviner, he will tell you another animal needs to die. That's why the coming of Christ was such a great change. Okay, I have to apologize because sometimes in the desire to become Christians, we did not follow the scriptures. The scriptures, like we saw in another episode, say that you are allowed to keep your culture but not your traditional religion. But unfortunately, many, especially Kikuyu land, abandoned both the culture and the religion. And that I do not agree. There was no biblical basis for you to stop your culture and follow white man's culture. Because the white man's culture is not better than our culture. So when Christ comes, he tells the white man about your religion. He tells the black man about religion, but not your culture. So there's nothing wrong with a Kikuyu who actually, for example, eats mukimo. That's our cultural food. Of course, other tribes wonder what's wrong with us. We take good food, bad food, then eat it together. They laugh. That's our culture. And becoming a Christian does not stop you eating mukimo and enjoying it. So realize that in all these series, you will not hear any one of us in this group of Mount Kenya Christian Council of Elders. We are not against our culture. We are against our religion. Because you can't be into religion. Once you choose to be in Embu traditional religion, or Meru traditional religion, or Kikuyu traditional religion, stay there. You are not in Christianity.
I think
so. Back to the point we are delivering. Dowry is a critical centerpiece of Kikuyu traditional religion.
Now, we as we get back to dowry, I think, well, let's put that aspect. There's a strong statement that you cannot be both in both religions, in Christianity and the Kikuyu cultural religion. Please, let's proceed on the dowry.
Now, so having understood that, and you have now understood dowry is not just an exchange of gifts. Dowry is religious. How do you know it's religious? Because of its connection with ancestral spirits. In other words, you thought you were just giving your father-in-law some money. Kumbe, the ancestors were recording it. Let me give you three differences between what the Christians believe. The Christians believe it's okay to give gifts to your in-laws, but they don't believe it's okay to give ratio or bride price. And that's the thing that you need to understand. Why don't Christians want to practice dowry? Number one is because in the Old Testament, there was issue of dowry. When you come to the New Testament, and there is discussion on marriage in the Gospels, in the letters of Paul, letters of even Revelation, discuss marriage, but never about dowry. Dowry dropped off somewhere between the Old Testament and the New Testament. So Christians do not subscribe to the issue of dowry. Number two, I would like you to read for me the book of Genesis, chapter 24, verse 50, to just see that even in the Old Testament, where dowry was practiced, it was not a standard practice. Some people, like a crook called Laban, sold to Jacob 7 years for Rachel, 7 years for Leah, And by the time they were parting, Jacob said, "You have cheated me, I don't know how many times." So that's not a very good example to follow. Let's follow the example of Abraham and the marriage of his son Isaac. Read verse 50.
Genesis 24 verse 50.
Yes.
So viewers, continue following this deep discussion. And I know some things you hear are so radical, but you just need to follow up. For example, the elder has said about dowry, and he is substantiating why dowry is not Bible. But just hold on and hear what he clarifies to mean in that. Genesis 24 verse 50, then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good.
Go on.
Verse 51, behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be my master's son's wife,
Thank you.
as the Lord hath spoken.
Can you argue here? Here, you know the story. Abraham did not himself go to his people. Why? We have not to learn about marriage. Do you see that Abraham could not allow Isaac to marry a girl who was not a worshiper of Jehovah? A worshiper of Jehovah. That's the first lesson we learned from there. The Christian marriage is only between people who have believed in God. So he had to go long distance to the people who believed in Jehovah in order to get a girl to marry. Number two, several things, miraculous things happen. By the time they are going to the home, the father of the girl already knows this is of the Lord. So verse 50 says, this is of the Lord, the girl is yours. Up to that level, even a gift has not been given. In other words, to Abraham and his relatives, dowry was not an issue. So they say, this is of the Lord, take the girl and go. But now look at verse 51, gone from verse 51 to hear what happens next.
Verse 51 says, behold, Rebekah is here. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken. 52. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things.
You know, a lot of people read that verse when they want to have dowry. There's no dowry there. Because the girl already been given.
I think the Kikuyu and the Africans need to hear. This is very radical. Yeah. And I know the Kikuyu people and others will be up in arms. Please go ahead and...
But they need to read the Bible themselves.
That is
the Bible says Rebekah was given to Isaac without dowry. But because Abraham was a generous person, he had given his servant some gift, not dowry, but gifts. Just so that you know it's not dowry, just read who got the gifts. Number one, the bride. Is that what you have read?
Yeah.
Number two, the brother. Number three, the mother. What did the father get? Nothing. You read it again because people will not believe you. Just read verse 52 again.
And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things.
Nothing for the father. In our tradition, dowry is given to fathers. But these are not dowry. They're just gifts given to the bride, to the brother, to the mother. Nothing for the father. So I want people to understand, in the New Testament, does not recommend the issue of dowry. The Old Testament, the best example is of Abraham, and he did not pay any dowry for his son. So if you're a Christian, if you no longer are a subscriber to Kikuyu traditional religion, I can't expect you as a father of a girl to actually be accepting dowry. You can accept a gift, but not dowry. What's the difference between a gift and dowry?
Yeah, that's important to clarify.
A gift is determined by the giver on the basis of his generosity and wealth. Abraham gave according to his wealth and generosity. Nobody asked him for anything. Out of his own generosity, he gave. So gifts, when a Christian boy is getting married, he will go with a gift to the home of the girl, but it's not been required. Nobody has asked him for the money. He's just being generous because a gift is just generosity. What about a dowry? Dowry is determined by the seller. Remember, dowry, it means the English word for dowry, the other English word for dowry is bride price. So it is the parents of the girl who are selling who tell you how much to pay. That's a big difference. Gift, the giver determines. Dowry, the seller determines. And you know, if you're a Christian old man, bride price means you have put a certain price on your daughter. But to the New Testament Christianity, people, including women, are not variable. They are invariable. There's a big difference between variable and invariable.
Yeah.
Variable means it's a very high price. Invariable means it's beyond any price. Surely my daughter is not variable. She is invariable. It means
That means you can't quantify,
You can't quantify.
in terms of silver or gold.
and even when my children, when my daughter was getting married, I couldn't give any figure. Why? She is not variable, she is invariable. So we do not expect any Christian to actually sell the daughter. So that's the first difference. There's gift, there's dowry. Second difference. Gifts are not counted and recorded. Because you gave willingly.
Yeah, that's
whatever
true.
you wanted. So you don't go, if it's a gift, why will you be counting? I gave whatever the size. That is me who determined. You just receive whatever I gave you.
It's not a commercial transaction.
No. So gifts are not counted, they are not recorded. What about dowry? It must be counted and recorded. And I know that because I remember the last born in my grandfather's family, at least around 1960.
This is very interesting. I think we have to listen to this so that you take good notes, you go reflect them, and then you further the discussion. And you can always make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mount Kenya Christian Council of Elders. And we are also available. You can always ask questions, follow us on social media, follow me on Bishop Daniel Gachuki on Facebook. Write your questions
or follow me on Facebook or John Nganga.
Or follow John Nganga on TikTok and Facebook. If you have questions, just type them there. We'll be ready to answer the questions. Please, Elder, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have seen the first difference is gifts, the giver determines the amount. Dowry, the seller determines the price. That's why the family of the girl are the ones who set the price. Then the family of the boy are negotiating. I don't like that one negotiation. It's like slave trade.
A product.
How could you negotiate for a human being? So whenever I hear a Christian say, Daddy Roratio, say that's not a Christian word. Roratio means I'm going to trade. Christians go for odoni, to have a relationship with the future in-laws of the son. They don't go for trading. So on that second thing you need to understand is dowry is not recorded, it's not counted. Gifts cannot be counted or they're just accepted. Dowry is the price has been set, so they must count whether you are able to reach the amount. They must also record, because most likely you can't finish the whole dowry. So dowry is recorded and counted. Number 3, gifts are final. Since they are not recorded, they will never be referred to. From the time you give gifts on your first visit until your parents-in-law die, you continue giving them gifts because there was never a price. But when it's dowry, remember it was recorded. Dowry is refundable. Gifts are not refundable. That's a big difference. That means if my son is marrying your daughter, and I feel I'm generous, I give 100 million. If 2 years later, your daughter leaves my son, I cannot come for anything.
Yeah.
Because I gave a gift, it was not counted. But if I gave you dowry, I will ask for a refund. So dowry is refundable, gifts are not refundable.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think these teachings are revolutionary, and we need to accept because we need to be free from bondage. We need to be free from, it's for freedom that Jesus died for us.
Yes.
And this freedom, I think, has been received partly, but we've left the control of culture, which is ungodly, to have to have a grip on us, such that even Christians are still bound. And I believe when Jesus said he came to set us free, so that we can be free indeed. So this subject is very important. Again, listeners, before you make your conclusions, keep following the discussion and listen, and you're free to ask questions. Now, Elder John, does it mean it's not a must? In this case, the word diary does not apply to Christianity.
To Christians at all.
Now,
Therefore means it's not a must.
That means it's not a must.
Let's say I'm the one with a daughter. When your son comes to get my daughter, he can come with nothing and you get my daughter. My daughter is not up for sale. In other words, I can...
Elder, do you have daughters?
And they're already married. But you need to understand, I did not ask for any dowry. I'm a grandfather.
Wow.
But I don't ask. It's beyond, it's below my dignity.
The young man needs, do you have a young...
I don't have young ones.
Oh, so
my children are all over 40, over 40 years of age. Now, you need to understand, a Christian father cannot sell the daughter. But let me go back a little and repeat. Why is dowry not done by Christians? I say number one, because it's not a New Testament concept. And therefore you cannot do it. Number two, we have emphasized because of its connection with ancestral spirits.
I think that point is critical.
It needs to be emphasized.
That emphasis, because in my Facebook I've written about what you've said, that the Kikuyu people are ruled by the dead.
Yes.
And then here you've just mentioned and said the voice of the dead seems to be stronger than the voice of the living.
That is true.
Please substantiate.
And dowry is one vehicle they use. The way to unshackle yourself and unshackle your children is, even if you yourself pay dowry, do not receive dowry for your own child. That way you have cut the connection with ancestral spirits. You see, these things they are calling the Wagomi, it is the balance that was not paid. If you don't pay at all, then they have nothing to claim. And it's very important to understand. So the major reason why a Christian cannot give dowry is actually its connection with the dead. Earlier, you say, no, it's just an exchange of gifts. But now, the Kikuyu Council of Elders, Kiama, has made it clear that dowry is not just a social thing, it's a religious thing. And so they will tell you the reason your child is suffering is because the dowry was not paid, like the story you gave in an earlier episode. It needs to be totally understood. A Christian cannot get involved in dowry because of its spiritual connection with the people who are dead.
Thanks a lot, Elder John Nganga. This is a revolution, and Jesus himself was a revolutionist. At some point, he said that he came to separate the father and the children, the sisters and the brothers. And I think it's to this extent we have to pay the cost if we are going to be free. Not that we are paying the price of redemption, but is what we need to
make a stand
and act upon. So we are doing this coverage of this series, and I would like to inform you that we've had previous episodes, and please subscribe to them and follow them up. As we terminate this episode, please just put a parting shot so that we can have a break.
So we have said a Christian can give a gift, but not dowry. We encourage any son-in-law to be generous. Although I said a Christian father can still give you a daughter even if you have given nothing. Christianity teaches us generosity. So for you as a young man, because I know young men listening to me are starting to smile. Before you smile, when you are going to your father-in-law's place, you must go loaded. Give what God has given you. What you give is not what you asked. It's on the basis of your generosity and the wealth God has given you. So that's a very good culture. Visiting, you don't go empty-handed. And it's not just before you get married. Even after you are married, you don't go empty-handed to your parents-in-law. Always go loaded. But you're not being asked for it. You are giving it with generosity.
Thank you.
So please, let's be clear. Our culture of in-law visitation, there's nothing unbiblical about it. So we don't just pick a girl and marry her. let the parents of the boy go to visit the parents of the girl and let them know each other, respect each other. And let the visitors go loaded. That's really how I want to finish this discussion.
Our viewers, thank you so much. This is a revolution, and I'm glad that we have an elder who has been there for several generations. In his first introduction, he mentioned that he had time also with his grandfather. Already him is almost a great-grandfather. If it's the Kikuyu way, you'd almost be becoming an ancestor. Now, we'll be getting to our next episode, Elder Nganga, to discuss about the blood and the sacrifices in dowry.
Okay.
Because I think now you've touched a very critical, revolutionary aspect of dowry, quote-unquote payment, which is not Christian. And then
what about the sacrifices?
And the sacrifices.
We'll come to that.
That's now what we are getting into after break. God bless you so much for this wisdom. We will treasure it, and that's why we are recording.